Welcome, welcome. This is Kringle Kim, and it is Saturday evening, November 3rd, 2018. I'm sorry. I've been having some alternate challenges with the computer tonight, and I was supposed to broadcast a little bit earlier, but here I am. Nobody else has this space, so I hope it's okay. There is an interesting subject on the blog, and it's a little bit take on, when I talk about being positive, and I guess it goes into visualization and creating our own reality. But that has to do, I feel, with TBC Kringle very much, because TBC Kringle is what I call a paradigm shift. And a paradigm shift is when, in fact, we become winners. We're willing to change, we're willing to learn, we're willing to try starting something new, and we're willing to never give up on our dreams. So first I'd like to, again, read the mission statement of Kringle, TBC Kringle. Kringle is a private digital currency embraced by the Billion Coin community. Per our private agreement, Kringle has a significant value today and will only increase in value with each new member that joins us. Kringle is completely detached from the public coin market and the currently established scarcity-based monetary system forced upon us by the elite ruling class. Kringle is based on abundance, not on artificial scarcity. Those who choose to join the TBC community understand the TBC vision and mission of reaching 1 billion members and ending poverty globally. They also understand that in order to achieve our objectives, our members must be proactive in learning from our educational blog and sharing Kringle via our cash flow system. Together we can achieve abundance for all. And so I realized tonight is the time change here in the United States. So I'm sorry, well, I said one date. It's actually November 4th. So, because I'm doing this a little later now, and it's already November 4th in other time zones. So it was a very interesting, it was a very interesting blog for today. I encourage you, all of you, to go to it. And it says, "Welcome to the Mind of Admin." And there are 3 videos and some script. However, the 3rd video, which is on The Secret, which I have seen the movie The Secret before and read the book, but it says it's not available here to watch in the United States. So if you're in another country, those, it's, what do you call it here? It's not allowed because of certain copyrights. So anyway, the videos really spoke to me, and maybe this is why I really have enjoyed grasping the mission of TBC Kringle. My background is in the sciences, chemistry, biochemistry, nutrition, botany, agronomy, and I do a lot with math and statistics. And of course, all my students, even if they were math students, they learned about nutrition. And they always learned about the Fibonacci code. So of course, the Fibonacci code is the structure of the universe to me and many other scientists. And also, when I was teaching chemistry, the kids would go, oh, first of all, most students don't want to take math or chemistry unless they're nerds like me. So I learned to call myself something new tonight. So I would start out chemistry class with, we're going to start cooking. We're going to make some popcorn, or we're going to make some chocolate chip cookies, or we're going to make some brownies. You pick a recipe you guys want to make in class. And they're like, what do you mean? That sounds fun. And you get to eat it too. But all those things are chemistry. Cooking is chemistry. You know, flour, sugar, salt, eggs, baking powder, baking soda, they all have chemical properties that when combined in the correct way will create something delicious to eat. When we cook something, that is supplying energy. So anyway, I used to tell my students everything's about math and science, and it is. We are energy beings. And I guess I have dealt with energy for most of my life, not really realizing that not everybody else had the same experience I do. But so the second video is about the quantum theory of electrons, and it was interesting. I just attended my daughter's wedding, which happened to be in Dallas, Texas, which is about it's about 1,150 miles away. And I know most of you use kilometers. So I know, anyway, a meter is a little bit longer than a yard, or shorter than a yard, and I know a kilometer is a little bit shorter than a mile. I don't have the exact thing in my head right now. But anyway, on the way back, we stopped in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And of course, I had to go to the National Atomic Museum. And it's right there by Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And of course, one of the buildings, it's kind of a research area there next to the Air Force Base and everything. And one of the companies is researching nanotechnologies, which fascinates me, as the concept of ambient energy also fascinates me. And in my spare time, which isn't much, I like to work on that. So when it came to the first video, it didn't really have a name, but it was by this gentleman named Case, and he's living in Celestin, Mexico. But anyway, he was talking about, you know, what our reality actually is. And he had an interesting saying that if you are one step ahead of the crowd, you are considered a genius. But if you are two steps ahead of the crowd, you're considered a lunatic. Well, I guess I have never really fit in with a lot of other girls a lot of the times, because I have always kind of been kind of a nerd. And I know what I consider a conversation, for many people, they're like, what are you talking about? So anyway, but this video really spoke to me. And like I said, I have kind of had an energy thing my whole life. I went to college, was very interested in the sciences. Because of the economy at the time I got out of college, I was using science in my job, and things changed, the economy changed, so I went into another line of work. But anyway, when they talk about lunacy, that's how I kind of always felt, especially when I found out when my one daughter was born that I had cancer. And so, you know, it's many years past now. And so, but that's what I've been doing a lot of the time since then. So you know, my daughter was born. I found out I had cancer. Back then there were no oncologists that I knew of in my area. So I went and found, you know, the tumors were in my neck and in my throat. So I went and found an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Turns out it was lymph glands. And then I had to go find my own surgeon. So anyway, I did this for a couple years. And I had a couple surgeries, and I had radiation, though I never did chemotherapy because of my background. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. And that was actually at the time, was, you know, first they would do surgery. Then if they still had to, they would do radiation, and chemotherapy was kind of like a last-ditch thing. So I never really I was presented with that after 2 years, and I said no. And they basically said, well, if you don't do it, you're not going to live very long. You have like 3 months. And I'm like, well, then the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I decided, there's a reason I had all this knowledge. After the economy went bust and I wasn't using it or hadn't been using it for a few years, here was a chance for me to use what I have learned. And of course, at the time, I call it wellness. At the time, people would call it alternative. Of course, back in the time, people still thought if you had cancer, it was contagious, believe it or not. So it was kind of like you were, you didn't tell anybody you had it. You kind of did it underground. And I know on one of my other things, I explained that. But as the years went by and I became healthy again, which I did a lot through detoxification, organic food, but also I would say half of it was visualization of myself being healthy and stuff. But all these years since, I would share with people if they were interested. Some people were interested, it gave them hope. But I would share with them, and I still actually have people say, they'll look me in the face and say, well, that doesn't work, like I'm a liar. But anyway, back in the day, they just called me crazy. And I said, as the years go by, the wiser I become. But when he said, if you are 2 steps ahead of the crowd, you're considered a lunatic, that is how I have felt for about 30 some years, as a lunatic. But I know in my heart of hearts that I'm healthy, not crazy. So it basically talks about the Mandela effect and the placebo effect, and how, like I said, this is a paradigm shift for a lot of people to grasp. But, we are constantly recreating our reality. He went on to say that basically we're living in a dream. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so life is this holographic dream. And the past is as flexible as the future. And in fact, I had this experience at the wedding. I have been divorced for probably 20 years. And so has all the other people in my ex-husband's family. But anyway, I had moved to Arizona and got a visit from one of his sisters. Not to visit, she was coming to a convention in Arizona and she visited. So this was like 14 years ago. And she, I remember, I made dinner for her and everything. It was like a last minute thing. And then she wanted to sit outside because she likes being warm. We have to realize she came in July to Phoenix. And it was like 112 outside. And it is a dry heat, but in the summer we actually have monsoon season. So it's not even that dry. We have humidity like everybody else in the United States. That's when we get a lot of our rain. And the sun had gone down, but we're sitting out on my back patio, and I'm just like, oh, please, you really want to go back to your hotel room because I need to go back in my house where I have air conditioning. And that was the other interesting side thing here. When I went to the National Atomic Museum, it was very, very cool. Had all the stuff I was interested in and have taught a lot to my students. But they did talk a lot about the Palo Verde nuclear power plant, which is about 20 miles from my house. And they said they had a whole display on it and everything and how it all works. And it was very, very interesting. But I didn't realize that power plant creates the atomic energy for Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Texas, and Southern California. So then I'm thinking, oh, wow, in this day and age, that's a big target. But anyway, she goes on, and so she comes up to me with her new husband, and she says, here's my new husband. And I'm like, hi, I'm Kim. I don't believe I've met you before. And he goes, yes, you did. I came to your house. And I said, I don't think so. And because I picture my ex-sister-in-law there and sitting in the heat, but I don't have any recollection of him at all. And in fact, he couldn't really explain what we had done. I think maybe my ex-sister-in-law had remembered that he was there. But anyway, his comment to me was, well, the mind's the first thing to go. And I was feeling really crazy, like a lunatic, until I saw this video. And he talks about the past is flexible as the future. And, we create our future, but we are all also, as we remember our past, that is can be flexible too. And the way we remember it can change. And it really doesn't have anything to do with whether we're having part-timers, as I call it around here. A lot of people have Alzheimer's. But, I say when I can't remember something, I say I either have to access my hard drive or I have part-timers. So this video made me feel a little better. Now, I don't know if it's been my past that had been flexible or her new husband's past, their past that had been flexible, but we were having a disconnect on that. And I felt a lot better that maybe it wasn't me. So I think I would have remembered him being that, he would have been a totally new person in my life. But then again, it was a really hot night and maybe the heat was getting to my brain. So, so the future of the past is very flexible. The past is just as indeterminate as the future. And, if you've ever read The Secret or seen the movie The Secret, and it talks about, creating your future and how you have to visualize your future and you have to pretend as if it's already happening, and you have to be grateful for how it's already happening. And I know going back to when I was 2 years it took me to change my body, support my body in wellness. Like I said, I did use detoxification, organic food. I used a couple other things. But half of what I did, and this is the back in the day of cassette tapes, I made myself a cassette tape. And, on that cassette tape, I repeated over and over again how I was well, all those kind of things. And I would sit there probably 3 times a day and play that tape and just listen to it over and over and over. And now I tell people that, half of getting well to me, so I would never tell anybody what to do, but half of getting well to me was what was going up here. If you can't visualize yourself getting better, you probably won't get better. And that is half of my secret to supporting my health. And it's funny because I keep that in my brain and I never worry about that happening to me again because it's just not anything in my brain. Now, I do get upset. I try not to watch the ads on TV. If I do watch TV, I think half the reason our society has become so sick is we are surrounded by those words. We're surrounded by all these side effects on ads. Even when I go to the grocery store, they go, oh, you want to donate to the big C walk, the cancer walk. And I'm like, please, don't even say those words to me. I don't want them to enter my brain because we are what we think. We can become what we think. And what we think, of course, can become how we feel, our actions. That was another part of this. He talked about how people with multiple personalities, actually, as they change personalities, their rashes or their skin would change, their coloring would change. And then he talked about how people, if they feel tired, they're going to look tired. And I know for the last at least 30 years, I have done classes on what I call wellness. And I do a lot with energy medicine. And I do a lot with raising people's frequency to health. And let me see, where was I going with that? But positive thoughts and positive visualization, that's why I talk about it a lot. It has a very, very high frequency. And that's where thinking positively or laughing, like if you're not feeling well, watch a funny movie, one that will really make you laugh. And you will see that you start feeling better. Because that you're raising that energy in your body to wellness or to health. And when we get sick is when the energy of our body does drop for one reason or another. We're eating processed food, or we had something traumatic happen in our life. So actually we only get sick because of our emotions. Our emotions cause our energy in our body to fall. And at that point, then we succumb to the bacteria and the viruses and the funguses and all that. So if you can keep your body energy in a high place through positive thinking and laughing and smiling, other people are going to feel that energy, but starting with your body. You are in control. You are creating your body to be healthy. And I know that is a paradigm shift, and that is hard for a lot of people to grasp. But, they keep coming to my classes, and we get into some really good conversations. And I guess I wanted to end with that, is for, they talk about creating your future. And it's interesting, I always told myself I was a millionaire, and at one point I was a millionaire. And then I upped it one, especially with this last Mega Million thing at 1.6 billion. But even years ago, I told myself I'd always be a billionaire. And lo and behold, TBC Kringle came into my life. And I can say now, that visualization has come true. I am a billionaire. And I want to close with, I hope you can all visualize yourselves as millionaires and billionaires, and you will be. And TBC Kringle is a great avenue for you to achieve that. So it's interesting what we think about and be positive about and be grateful about. Like one of my other sayings is, you do get what you wish for. So make sure it's something you want. Because when we worry, first of all, that's negative energy. We will get what we're thinking about. And that's not necessarily what you want. So keep your thoughts positive. Share that positive energy with others. Be grateful for the things that you do have. And really picture and be detailed about what it is you want. And make sure it is something you really want. So this is Kringle Kim. You should go to the Kringle Cash back office and the education tab and watch the blog for November 4th, 2018. Welcome to the mind of the admin. So now we don't know who the admin is, but we're kind of getting an idea of how they think, or he thinks, or she thinks, and how TBC Kringle came about as a peer-to-peer community mission to end global poverty. And so we have to keep that in our heads too, so that we do achieve the goal of 1 billion members and become a TBC Kringle economy. And this is Kringle Kim Have a wonderful evening and day. Good night.